thought we were doing it.
We get reimbursed this year.
But I mean, I thought we were feeding.
Right, but she has to send out a letter that shows everybody on county and cemetery.
No, I didn't think you had to send it out if it wasn't.
Oh, no, I gotta send it out because I've got 3 peak season, I think.
But you have to send it out no matter what, right? Just it shows what it's on. Have to drill.
2,883 people in it.
Oh, my God.
And how much did that cost?
I think last year was not much more. State's paying this year, I don't know about next year. It is hard.
Is something this one?
What is it?
No, I thought I would do it now. I thought I had been
Morning.
copies of the next year.
I don't know.
How's everybody doing?
Great, how are you?
Warm,
True.
simply warm. Some would say it's summer in Kansas.
Yep, there you go.
Give it a week, it'll change.
Actually, I think it's supposed to change.
It's Thursday.
Yeah.
We've got a chance to shower Thursday.
It showed in the 70s.
Believe when I see it.
There you go.
I feel it. Whatever.
Hey, everybody.
Morning.
How goes it?
Hey, great.
Oh. Morning. Hey, morning. I laid in bed today. Oh yeah, my ankle was a sound. Oh yeah. It still hurts. I'll never look at a bumblebee the same way. I know these things. We got attacked by bumblebees.
Not yours though.
No, not honeybees.
Okay.
We had bees, but bumblebees. I didn't know they stung.
Yeah, okay.
And I played with them. I'm not aggressive. I moved out in the woods was messing with them. Poor Scott got 7 or 8 times. I don't know how it was. In the mouth. A little bit, you know, that is worse than that is not the worst. Storm stuff, and all kinds of things. That was the worst. Oh, you knew me.
Territorial. They probably just don't want you to realize with the nest. I didn't realize they had a nest.
I don't blame them.
Didn't have a
Yeah,
problem.
because they have meat.
Yes,
Man,
they got to the ferocious.
Yeah, and hot days.
they would not
Well, they do that all the time.
a whole bunch of us got stuff. So I left my foot elevated all day and worked on that. Business work.
Huh?
I didn't think I was gonna make it this morning, but I got my meeting with them. So I'll be here tomorrow too.
Okay, thank you.
You're both.
Thank you.
I'll ask you. Well, there's-
Turn back page. Is that supposed to be permanent?
I got another neighbor who's
Okay.
Hang on.
for the other side of campus.
All right, it's 9 o'clock, call the meeting to order, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Little housekeeping taken care of here. We have a
Kansas Department of Corrections Division of Juvenile Services fourth quarter budget adjustment report. This is for Brooke, correct? And is this like just for the grants and stuff that they have? Okay. So all it needs is my signature. You guys want to see this?
I don't, I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
I looked at it, it's out there, we know.
What would this resolution be?
That'll be 17.
Have you seen this one?
What's that?
The safety?
I wrote part of it.
You're in, okay,
I wrote it.
perfect. It'll be 17, isn't it? We have before us today a resolution, 2025-17. And this resolution, Board of County Commissioners of Jackson County authorizing the formation of an injury management program and safety committee, whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Jackson County, Kansas recognizes that its employees are the most valuable asset, and whereas Jackson County is dedicated to managing the risk of providing services for its citizens and will make every effort to identify and address all workplace hazards for the prevention of work-related injuries. And whereas Jackson County is a member of the Kansas Workers Risk Cooperative for Counties, and it seeks to partner with it to improve workplace safety, and whereas the Board of Trustees of the Kansas Workers Risk Cooperative for Counties considers the health, safety, and well-being of employees of members counties to be a paramount importance. Therefore, the board actively promotes, supports the implementation of any injury management program with the objective being reducing workplace injuries and illness and minimize the costs associated with workplace injuries and illness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Jackson County hereby establishes the Jackson County Safety Committee. The committee is empowered to make decisions concerning the policies and practices of the county that affect the safety and well-being of employees and elected officials. The committee shall be comprised of department heads and employees of the county as may be appointed by the county commission from time to time. The committee is empowered to engage in such meetings and recommend actions as it deems necessary to take this resolution into effect under the general guidance and control of the county commission. Any discussion? Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Resolution 2025-17 is in force. All right, before Rose Ridge gets here, we have a letter from Kathleen McMahon. Thank you for your interest, Kathleen. I do appreciate your comments. I'm not even going to address the first part of the letter that has been handled and is a moot point. As far as your contention that Mr. Murphy, who is Vice President of D.L. Smith, Line and Dandy, is a conflict of interest because D.L. Smith does work for Jeffries and Evergy. I don't see how that could be a conflict of interest because neither of those parties, to my knowledge, I don't know if any of the other commissioners can speak to it, but I will speak to them on my own if they want to wish to speak to it, they can. Neither one of those entities, to my knowledge, has ever shown any interest in obtaining a SUP for any solar facility in Jackson County. Neither of those entities has shown any interest in building a solar facility in Jackson County. okay? And if you're gonna say a conflict of interest because a gentleman works for a company who works for another company who does business with these, it makes no sense. Because if that's the truth, then everyone on either board, sitting here, sitting across the hall when they're in session, would have a conflict of interest with Jeffries or Evergy, because roundabout, everybody in this county purchases power from either Evergy or Jeffries through the Southwest Power Pool. So if you're gonna say that, then everyone sitting on either of these boards would have a conflict of interest.
So you're comparing people that have electricity to someone who works for DL Smith Electric as a
I'm saying
vice
there can't be.
president who
Hang on,
also.
Kathleen.
Okay.
How can you say there's a conflict of interest? Because if I was working for a contractor, okay, that does work for Jeffries or does work for Evergy, then that would be another conflict of interest according to you. There is no conflict of interest there because he is a vice president of a company that does work for other companies.
May I answer?
Sure.
Thank you. So he's the vice president of DL Smith Electric, and that's the job that he does is the pre-construction work. And so he's working on contracts, which is what he's kind of doing now.
With who?
I'll have to go ask him, I guess, because what I see from the website of DL Smith Electric, I know for a fact that they do work at Jeffries Energy Center because my husband works there.
Sure.
And I know that he also, that DL Smith Electric does work.
Your husband works for the company, he works for Jeffries, your husband is,
Yeah, part-time.
okay. Well, what I'm
As
saying.
an employee of Jeffrey?
Yeah.
He is
Yes.
employed by Jeffrey
Yes.
as an employee?
Yes, as an employee,
He
he's
doesn't
an
work for
employee.
Capital Electric?
No.
You said JEC.
I'm saying my husband.
Yes.
So what are we talking
In
about?
the-
My
in the
husband
email,
or?
you said, in the email, you said that he works for JEC, which is also known as Capital Electric.
No, I didn't. I spelled out the whole thing. I didn't put JEC in there. I didn't at all.
It's in here.
Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Well, let me grab mine.
My husband works at JEC, and that is who I'm quoting. And what I'm trying to get across to you, Kathleen, is just because DL Smith does contracting for, they do business with a lot of other companies too, besides Jeffries and Evergy. But the statement that I made right at the start is, as far as to my knowledge, okay, there has been no mention of anything anywhere of Jeffries, Energy Center, or Evergy ever talking about coming into Jackson County and building a solar field, asking for a sub. So that is not a conflict of interest, ma'am.
Right. So in the past, they've never contracted any solar development here. But my problem is that there's a potential for conflict of interest because he's working. Let me finish because you got to talk.
I'm letting you finish, Kathleen.
Okay, and you can laugh, but he's working on the regulations that are possibly potentially going to help him get the contract.
No, that's not.
I guess we'll find out, but it seems like a conflict of interest to me.
I don't believe that it is.
Seems like an obvious
I don't
conflict of
believe that it is.
interest.
Can I ask a question?
No. Oh, you? I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead. It is not a conflict of interest.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the conflict is because, I mean, is he making the regulations more harsh?
No, opposite. He's making it easier.
But he's working for a competitor. I mean, if he's truly working for Evergy or JEC, if he has their interest and he works for them, why is it a conflict for him?
No, Kathleen's husband works for JEC.
Well, I know, but I'm saying the guy with conflict, doesn't he want to make, I mean, if he's working for Evergy, his bread and butter is that JEC continues to grow, right?
Yeah, and they might buy this, just like in Iowa, NextEra built.
So that's the whole thing. There's a lot of, this may happen, that may happen. I've been told it could be, it's possible, rumor has it.
But JEC's cold, am I crazy?
Yes.
Correct.
I mean, it's a coal-fired plant, he works for a coal-fired plant. It's his, if his
He works for an
financed
electrical
by them,
company.
why would he contradict his own?
He works for an electrical company. Electrical companies do electricity. They install electricity in lots of different buildings. They don't just say, I'm only doing coal, or I'm only doing
Yeah.
solar. What they're gonna do is they're gonna contract themselves out for Next Era so that they can do the work. I'm sure they'll have to have more than one company. I don't know, seems like a really big company to me if they're in Kansas City. And so they're gonna do contract work with Next Era. So Next Era itself is not gonna do the work, they're gonna do contract work here.
So we don't have any contracts actually between this entity and whoever's next year, right? Don't have any evidence of that. We don't even know, do we know that this company that gentleman works for does transmission work? I mean,
Don't the solar panels need electricity to go from the solar panels to the lines? So aren't we talking
Yeah.
about the actual installation of the inverters
There is one
and the
piece,
solar
hang on, Kathleen.
panels?
Yes, you are correct. Inverters, whole 9 yards,
Right.
any transmission. You're missing one thing. Evergy or Jeffrey Energy Center has to sign a transmission agreement with whoever, if a SUP is even agreed upon and allowed, if it's voted upon and it passes and it gets SUP, there has to be a transmission agreement in place before anything can even begin. If that doesn't happen, if they don't get a transmission agreement between Jeffrey Energy Center, which their transmission lines run right through there, Evergy, then there's nothing there. They don't get to do anything. How can they? What are they going to do? They're going to build a solar field and then not be able to transmit energy?
Isn't that what's being built just east of Holton? Isn't there transmission lines coming up this way?
talking about Graybill.
No, something
No,
else.
that was the transmission line for the windmills.
No, but isn't there one that's coming from Kansas City, like just, west of that, it's like Edgerton, they're dealing with that. No, okay, well, I'll get all the information, but to me, it seems like it's pretty cut and dry because obviously when you're
It's not cut and
installing,
dry.
when you're installing solar panels, you don't just put the solar panels in and hope that something happens. You have to have electricity that goes to the inverters, and then the electricity has to be connected to something else. And so for me, it
right
seems like
there,
that's what
does
this
something
electrical
else.
company, this electric company is going to need. They're gonna need a lot of electric
The
companies.
something else is what you're talking about. There has to be a transmission agreement between Jeffries or Evergy, whoever you want to
We're
call it.
just putting all the pieces into place, and part of it is
Yeah.
having somebody from DL Smith be on our planning board to then put all the pieces into place so that they'll get the regulations that they want, so that then this thing will go through. This
That's one
11,000
That's
acres.
one voice. How many people are on the planning committee?
So now you're admitting that he could be?
No.
But
I'm
one
saying
voice that
that's one
that
voice.
spent the meeting, the last meeting they attended, he had page after page after page of things crossed out. It was basically the Jason Murphy show, and he had things that he wanted to add to it. And I just thought, excuse me, this is one person, and it's pretty much his planning board that day, that evening. See, and that's, I mean,
I
once
believe-
he had the situation is that the 2 meetings ago, everybody voted to make the setbacks less, and they said no. And then as soon as Mr. Pruett left because he had another engagement, I think it had been an hour into the meeting, Jason Murphy then puts it to a vote a second time, and I said, "Are you got to be kidding me?" And
And
so
what
that's
happened?
when they said no. But luckily, one person pretty much saw what was happening. I'm not going to mention his name, but you can watch the video to see one person lifted his hand up at the last second with the no, because he knew that this was wrong. You don't make a vote, everybody says no, somebody has to get up and leave, and then you make the vote again.
Okay,
And as
we're
soon
not-
as
we're
that
not-
happened,
we're
I
not
looked up.
discussing the planning committee.
I'm discussing
other
this
than-
one person that
we're-
needs to be
Kathleen,
removed.
Kathleen, we're not discussing the planning committee other than one thing. Is there a conflict of interest with Mr. Murphy? No, there is not. Like I
Okay,
said,
all right. then obviously I'm gonna have to go talk to somebody else, but I was hoping that would be taken care of
Fine.
today.
Fine, indeed. Thank you. I do appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Can I ask a question on that?
No, sir.
No?
Nope. I was addressing Kathleen because Kathleen had her letter.
Cool.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir. This is not,
I don't have a problem.
no, this is not open to public discussion. If you want to talk about it, get on the agenda. I was addressing Kathleen's letter that she sent. I don't mean to be harsh or anything, but Rowdy, you're not on the agenda. If we want to be on the agenda,
And you wonder why it ends up on Facebook? It's all good, man. Just go.
put me
Just
on
go.
Facebook. I'm on Facebook every week.
It's cool,
anyway.
go
So,
ahead.
would you like to be added to the agenda, sir? You?
I just had,
Would you
I
like
just
to be
had-
added to this?
I
We're gonna
came
do
up
this
to
the
a
proper
question
way,
where she
Rowdy.
asked. This is so
Rowdy,
simple.
we're gonna do this the proper way. Would you
It's-
like to be added to the agenda?
No, thank you. I'll take, no, thank you.
I'm more than happy to add you to the agenda.
It was just a question, boss.
I understand that. I'm more than happy to add you to the agenda.
This is so not complicated.
I understand. Would you like to be
You
added
guys want
to
the
the
people
agenda?
engaged, and then you don't want the people engaged. This is pretty simple.
There is a proper way to do it, Rowdy. Would you
I
like
know,
to be
it's
added
the
to the
way that-
agenda?
Yeah. It's cool, man. Rock on.
So you're denying to be added to the agenda?
I don't need to be added to the agenda to just ask a follow-up question on something I just heard. I didn't even come in here with any of that.
Okay. Scott,
This is silliness.
there's a proper way to do things, there's a proper way not to do things. I asked
And
you
you're
if
a
you want
public
to be
servant
added.
and you work for me.
Yes, sir, I do.
Yes, you do.
That's why I asked if you want to be added to the agenda. If you do not want to be added to the agenda, that's
I just had a
fine.
simple question. It really even wasn't big, man. This is so silly.
Okay. What you got, Scott?
Well, we have a Mack truck that's down, and we picked up quite here that they got the fuel pump that low.
Oh, you-
Check that out, see what's going on. I sent information to Todd last week about that.
Yeah, we're talking about a memorandum of understanding with the tribe about the bridge.
About the 190 bridge.
Still,
Still,
that's still nothing.
Sent all that information off, and they're still asking for that document. So, as soon as we can get something done.
Even though the company in
Yes.
Nebraska had that on their files, that it was very good.
Yes, Bergen still is asking for
I don't think that, I didn't take offense at the idea that we needed something, record, because there is kind of a great zone here. Just, what I took it as being that they want us to say, they did it, it's theirs, and, but we're gonna do some stuff, right?
well, it's basically taking responsibility for it,
Yeah.
the inspections.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we can put some stuff in there that affects our interests a little bit. It still puts it in their hands to kind of take care of. That's, I mean, if we gotta do one or the other. Either they built the bridge, they did it, they're kind of put it on their inventory, or if it's not supposed to be in their inventory, it's supposed to be in ours, despite the fact that they did it, well, we have to make a move to take it back. I think, all the evidence we have is they did it.
And according to state, it was taken off the bar inventory back in 2004, right when all this documentation, drawings, bridge was built in 2004. All kind of lines up, it's just,
Seems pretty cut and dry, but the state's still not accepting. So what's our next move?
Oh, it's just, I think the memorandum of understanding probably gets us there. I mean, it kind of clears up who did what, in my mind, and then that's on their list. And I hope that after that, the state would say, okay, well, we know where it's at, so we don't have to bother.
Okay.
So,
this part here too, this is, but, I did this up, last week. In the yellow are the roads that we maintain, this is reservation here. Yeah. In the yellow is what we maintain still, which is about 70 miles. Yes. We're still getting the challenge on all the culverts and bridges that are on these roads here that we maintain.
And then put, if you would, just in a, not a spreadsheet, but just the cost, the normal cost, on an annual basis to take care of that? If you have an
It's gonna be
idea.
one of these.
Well, I mean, you know what it costs to maintain a mile of road, let's say.
Yeah.
So just calculate that through a mile of that. And then the inspections that we do on the bridges, all those dollars. Yeah.
Okay.
Would you ask my copy?
I just got that, they can print off on paper.
Thank you. I'd like,
Eventually, yes.
need at least two.
Because usually we use, it's a page that's just been highlighted on. So-
Right. I like that. That'll work well for what we need to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
This week, we're gonna start weather committee down on 106 and D, tearing that bridge out, putting those 3 tubes into the head walls.
The prefabs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Matt, take some pictures, when we do that. Again, the purpose of this is to save us $200,000 in building a bridge.
So, for the newspaper, Ally, this project down here, if you want pictures of this eventually, we're trying a new, type of way to replace a bridge. These are tubes with head walls already built, they're prefab, they're coming in at a much lower cost.
It's like about $25,000 for the 3,
As opposed to 200
$200,000 for a bridge.
or more for a bridge, so we'll be able to provide you with some pictures of that. I think it'd be good for the community to know, you know, that,
Alternative way.
yeah, we're gonna try it and see how it works. If it's, if the install works well, we'll probably continue. to
One thing too is, we can tear this bridge out, put this in probably about a week, instead of being, a month or 2.
Pour concrete,
Right.
and all that, so, you know, just not sure that,
Ditching and washing, we're down around W and Denison, working on an area down there. Got some bad spots over here at, Rings area, XY, and, around 254 and 38 area, he's got 2 spots in his group. He's off today, so, he's back. Got 2 tubes put in last week at Deer Run, which worked out well. We were talking about starting to put some of that dirt into the road and build the road up there around that curve around the end. But we've got a chance to rain, tomorrow, Wednesday, so we're probably gonna just do what we can over there on some other areas and then hopefully get into that, on Thursday. So, we're gonna stockpile some 2-inch rock out here at the plant. Also talked to Brandon about, his concern about getting it done if we do start pulling dirt. I said, well, if we got rain coming, I said, it's okay if it's gonna rain tomorrow, to work a little late in the evening, and then just take that time off the next day. So that's fine too. So, just get some more time to work on it.
Did you hear anything from Johnny?
I talked to Trevor last week, which is above Jeremy, and he said Jeremy does have a plan, with his contractor to get something done, it's just he didn't know what it was, and he said, well, I'll have him call you, and he's never called. So, he thought that maybe sometime first this week, they would get over there and get it done. We did see that somebody went in and dug a couple spots over there.
Yeah,
by the
that is
pole.
true, yes.
They did do that.
Is that giant?
Yes, but hopefully, they'll be in and out this week, we'll get those poles taken down and then lines moved. Where we are with that. Kind of got the truck swap deal done, with the weed department and that truck down there, we got it up here. There were some, wheel bearings out on the front end, there's a torsion bar that is kind of, needs replaced. A few other little things, so, we are making a little bit of that, we got a truck up for sale. I guess that money will just go back to the weed department. Kind of where we are with that.
the sale of the truck.
The one that got blown motor.
Drop the valve.
Okay, oh, yeah,
Then-
having a truck out here that blew a motor, and it's gonna cost, pickup truck, it's gonna cost more than what the truck was worth. So we opted to, rather than sell the old truck down here, the weed department, swap them, because it's still running, you know, it's got some issues, at least it runs.
Right.
And, we're gonna sell that other one for parts, or whatever, on the auction.
They could put a new head on it for $400, but if they drop the valve, I wouldn't trust just putting a new head on it and going that way. And the long walk is gonna be pretty much more than the truck's gonna be worth, so, yeah.
No doubt.
Used engine with more miles on it than the one they had
Yes.
was gonna be $4,000. Well, I wouldn't trust that without putting it in, going through anyway, so.
Okay. But you're, just so, and you made a comment, you wanted what money to go back to what department?
Well, the value of the truck that was at the weed department, we need to see what that is, and then when we sell this other truck, I guess the money needs to go from the road and bridge to the weed department.
Okay, so you'll
Cover the
that's
that.
the department to make sure that transfer gets done, and then whatever the sale of the pickup, that will go back to
Yep.
road and bridge.
No, the sales payment will go back to the weed department for the truck, to replace the value of the truck that they got. So,
Okay, well, yeah, just so the dollars match. That's all
Yeah.
I'm concerned with. Like I said, that's all I got for now.
What did you find out about E-Road? Did you go out and look at that one? That was one of the big drop-off down into the ditch.
Yes, I did, and I got that road up and turned in my app. Yeah, it's pretty
That's
good.
gonna be a little bit of a process
Yeah.
on that. Got any ideas?
Well, I think what you said about lengthening that tube out would be the best thing.
Okay.
It's just thinking that first we need time, because we've got quite a few things going on.
Yeah.
And then, if it's not very,
Being able to get it
it
done.
out about 10 feet or so.
I'd say it's-
Slow that back up.
You had your little clothes or boots on and went down and looked at it. Did you go down and just stand on the edge and look?
It was raining.
It was raining out there too, so
I
yeah.
did not go down there.
All right. We got a question about, and we talked about this, where we put in the tubes up here on the old highway and on 254 by Circleville. Did those get chip and sealed in?
Not yet.
Okay, it's still on.
Yeah, they got, basically half of K Road to complete, and then, these 4 spots.
Okay.
So yes, we have those rubbed up.
Okay, on the, like on the old highway, I've been on the one or 254 quite some time. It's one of the old highways, we humped the rock up so that we could let it settle and everything. We're gonna kind of cut that down before we.
What's in the contract, they're supposed to come in and grind it, repack it.
Okay, they're gonna grind it, repack it. Okay, perfect. All right. The dump road, I got 2 more. The dump road, I was down there last week and it's pretty rough. There's places the water's cutting across the road now when we had them big rains, so.
And we keep band-aiding it, it's on our list to do a major or rebuild.
Yeah, I think
it's not gonna
Part
happen
of,
now.
no, it's not gonna happen now, but I think going in and cleaning out the ditches and things in some of the places along there where people water will cut across the road. And then, the lake road, could we use, over here, where we, redid that a couple of years ago, could we use the road groomer to pull rock back up out of the ditch and put it back in the tire tracks?
Depending on how far it's in the ditch.
It's not really that far, but we've got places where the rock has been pushed into the ditch, and so it's humped up, so we got water running down the road rather than getting to the ditch where it should be. So I didn't know if the road groomer would work for that, or if the road groomer is even a viable option anymore.
I can look at it.
Okay, because we've done some work down on the end, getting,
Done by S.
right down there at the intersection. And that's a good job down there. It's done a great job getting that water off the road. But quite a ways along there, there's places where the water's running right down the tire tracks, can't get off, so.
I actually had Ethan come over and get the rain, just 246 between Old Highway and New Highway, had some of the same issues where it was just running out right
Mhm.
there. And had some steep banks, and the rain wasn't sure what to do on it, or I wasn't explaining enough for what I wanted to do.
Right.
So I had Ethan come over and came over, take care of that too.
Okay. All right, perfect.
So I have Steve Gathers call for 238 Nest Road. He said that they came out and cleaned the ditches out, put the dirt on the road, and nobody ever came back. And it's a mess. And then I do have an email this morning from somebody that said they popped over the hill going southbound down here on Old 75, and Atchison Paving had a skid steer and flatbed truck in the road working a spot, but there's no constructions, no sign ahead letting them know that anybody's working or anything, but they popped the hill and had to brake really hard.
What road is that?
It's on the old highway, she said, 2 miles north of 262 road.
Yeah, that's probably one of the spots where they
Yeah.
call it.
Anyway, so she said she popped the hill and right there they were.
Right where the feed is.
Yeah, she said she had to brake really hard to.
Right. Call them.
Anyway, do you want this? She's got their phone numbers on it, so.
So we talked about information from Roger Sweet also.
Yes.
Is that something?
I got it.
You've got it?
There's no wait for it all at one time.
Oh, okay, all right. And then down on S Road, right south of 1.6, I stopped and looked at that, and you are correct. The tube is here and a dip on both sides. What's the fix for that?
Either grind or add asphalt.
Can this company come back in and fix that?
What the price is for it.
So,
And you're talking 123rd, not 126, like.
123rd lane, yeah, the cul-de-sac. Right there, the county put a tube in maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And it's settled on both sides of it. And so when you're driving along, you hit that and it you jump up.
123rd S, you said?
123rd and S, yeah, it's on S, but my conversation has been, prior to chipping and sealing some of these roads, I think we need to do an inspection, and if there are issues like that, let's include the fix before we chip and seal. And I think, some of these chip and seal roads, even if we have to do fewer miles of them, we need to do a better job of patching them. Not meaning that we use, if we have to go in and dig them out a little bit, we use tack oil, we use a real roller, not just a dump truck.
Who does that?
Yes.
I got back to Dr. Matt the other day, and down on 110, we had all those blowouts down there that we dug out. We had the W by 278, we dug out before it was chip and seal, we did it. S Road out here, the paving company, did that one.
Right. So I'd like to at least know what it's gonna cost to fix that, because we won't be back to that for years. And I mean, as long as they're in the neighborhood, I'd like to at least, I'm not gonna commit to fixing it, but I would like to have a dollar amount of what it's gonna cost to fix that. That means they gotta go in on both sides, do a little bit of grinding, asphalt over that, and then spray some tack oil and re-chip it. That's what I'd like to know. Because it's only gonna sell more as we continue on.
I guess we need to get some parameters put in place before we do chip and seal too. How smooth do you want the road? Because if you want it smooth, then, yeah, you can be talking a lot of asphalt, a lot of grinding, a lot of expense.
Yeah.
Chip and seal is not to smooth the road, it's to seal the
Yeah.
moisture in through the cracks.
Making it smoother is way before they ever show up. And where we're just throwing some asphalt in some holes, I don't know is the best technique or the best approach. I'd like to see a little more care taken in evaluating the mile of road and going, you know what, this is something we can do. And probably needs to be done. That's just my thought.
I know they did some asphalt work out on 254. And what they did out there, I was impressed with. It's the best that I've seen in a long time. So I don't know if they did something different or what, but, the holes are smoothed out, it looks like they actually, went around the edges and, feathered it. But I thought they did a heck of a job out there on what they did. But we need to look at how we need to address this in the future. We can, but I think it's right, I think it's gonna be a lot.
You have to, determine what are you looking for at the end? You go run down 254 out there, my God, it costs you millions of dollars to fix that. It's smoothed up. It's just,
And that's clear back when they started.
yeah. And to me, unless, like, you wanted that grant for it, to go in and grind these roads up, and get a good base down, you're probably gonna end up, even if you spend the time, getting it flattened out, how long is it gonna last? These big trucks like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. All boils down to dollars and cents, right? Okay.
Speaking of that, speaking of the grant, it's gonna be refiled, right?
I have not talked to,
Right.
I have not talked
I
to
think we need to find that out, so I thought that was part of the deal, is that they would find out why it did not get done and then refiled.
That's my understanding, when he originally came in,
Yes.
he said they would get back with him and then he'd refile it each year.
With the corrections or whatever, more information they want. So we need to check on that and see where he is on that, because I think filings should be coming up on that, I believe.
I'll make a note to reach out to Brett Wagner.
And I had a question asked to me, it was just a general question. The dirt pile, concrete pile down here by Dan's Peninsula, that you guys know that down here?
Okay, yeah.
Somebody came by there and saw a couple slabs of concrete, said, did they do anything with that? Can somebody take that or what? So I said,
We
we
usually,
ask and see.
we usually use that for rip wrap,
Okay,
going holes and things like that.
okay.
Sorry, yeah.
I'll pass that on. All right. Okay, he said he didn't know, he was just curious, and so, we want a couple pieces, we can get it. All right.
At Captain had a bunch there at one time. I think last year was concrete pad before.
He's out that way, so I'll play you just a bit.
Yeah, they had a bunch of that stuff, and then we got a bunch of it, and it's on 254, right there, this hole, so we wouldn't, we'll bunch of
Yeah.
chips. But there we use.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you. Anybody else got anything, Scott?
I don't.
All right, thanks, Scott.
All right, you gotta get something on that.
I'll try my best.
Now, that's something that I can sign and send to her, on her sign, or is that something that's gonna?
I tend to think I default to these guys, that they have the authority to do that. I really don't want to do it anywhere else, so. Up to through the Ben Range, you guys sign off on it, so.
For the tribe.
Yeah.
For the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the project will want to get for what we're doing here with all these roads, what we're responsible for, what they're responsible for.
That's,
She would like one.
well, I understand she would like one, and I would like one too. But there's a difference between the bridge they built and the road.
Right.
You guys. So, that's, if they wanna talk about that, then there's a broader discussion to be had.
Okay.
Okay. And just tell you what's going on, I'm gonna be out of the office on Thursday, Friday, so kind of a short meeting. Announce the
Keith, to catch you up on last week too, we denied the special event permit for out at, bring back Ms. Bohannon. He was not able to attend, she was not able to attend. There was questions asked, I had questions, so we went ahead and denied it pending, the answer to some of the questions that Kate's gonna send. And everybody from the audience, I think everybody, there was only 2 people, I believe, I remember right, County, that were
That
not
weren't on
on the notification list that were here, and there was no one in the neighborhood that was in favor of it without more information, so.
They really wanted more information. They
Yeah.
didn't say they were completely against it, but
So we denied it, just for that, and so they can refile it and, give us the other information so that we can make a better determination on that. So,
Thanks. You have one, it's not on the agenda, but I would like to at some point bring up resolution 2025-16. And if we tabled it, since I was gone last week, to have a conversation about that.
Go ahead.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, you go right
Is this
ahead.
a good time?
Yeah.
So, after going back over this, having some conversations with some community members, reached out to Todd, had a conversation with him, visited with Kate a little bit, well, visited with Kristen. I'm not sure this 2025-16 is something that we need. I just don't see a need for it in the sense that, and I'll be honest with you, I just don't like some of the wording in it. But I think we're trying to solve a problem that hasn't occurred. And I think the simpler fix for this is changing the word in our revitalization and our building permit. Simply saying in there that if you fill out a building permit or a revitalization permit, and that gives their office, the appraiser's office, the permission to come on your property with prior notice, letting them know, hey, we need to come back because there are certain things we need to, for instance, with revitalization, prior to the construction or remodel, they come in and take pictures. Typically, they'll want to come in and look at the inside of the house and see what you're doing. Then they come back afterwards when the paperwork's all filled out. If that community member that has filed that paperwork says, I'm not going to give you permission to do it, okay, great. Then you're not qualified for this project anymore, and it's done. In talking with their office, this hasn't been a problem yet, where they were denied access. So, I guess I'm not in favor of keeping this. So I'll just open, that's my take on this. I think it was well written, but again, I just, are we putting in place something that just isn't needed when we can fix it by just changing the words in our two of our other documents?
Does this, do the other documents then, protect the Northeast Kansas Environmental Services?
And they, again, we can change
That's
whatever we
that's-
need for them.
Sure.
If somebody is building a new property or having a lagoon put in, they are gonna sign a document saying they're gonna let them come on the property to do the inspection. Again, I don't know that Martha has ever said she was denied access to come do an inspection.
Sure, I mean, I don't know that either. I will flat tell you, I have not had one person contact me that was against this at all.
Sure.
Yes, I've read some things on Facebook, what you do, you know, all blah, 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 but it comes down to the fact that one thing you just said was, we haven't had an incident yet. And I think that one of the reasons that we asked Todd to draft this was we were trying to be proactive. So,
In what way is this document gonna prevent something from happening?
it's not.
Okay.
It's
And-
not.
And Todd,
nothing's
don't
going-
take this
nothing's
personally.
going from it.
I understand what you were trying to do, and you did good, you did your job. I just don't think it's necessary.
Well, what changed your mind?
Going back and reading this and having some conversations with community members,
That's just,
that,
I've not had any,
Yeah, I
anyone
have.
contact me.
yeah, I
sure.
have. And, it made me think. So I went back and I read this. I actually
What
pulled
part
up
of it
the.
do you not like? I mean, I'm just trying to get down to
No.
specifics here,
Yeah.
because I'm just kind of curious what's changed your mind.
Yeah, number one, I mean, entered by the officer shall only be pursuant to a reasonable suspicion, officers, employees, contractors. It sounds like, it's more what it sounds like than what it actually is, and I think it concerns community members who maybe don't understand exactly what it is, and I get that a little bit. To go through and read this, it seems like it's more intrusive than it really is, and I get that. But, and only because I have an attorney and that type of thing. I don't believe it in any way, shape, or form in this document that it violates any amendment, any constitutional rights. But again, I'm always hesitant of creating something when there isn't a problem.
This is.
And I don't know how this would ever prevent a problem.
This is what we asked Todd to come up with, correct? As a board?
It was,
Okay.
and I'm human, and the more I thought about this, the more I,
So would education for the public be more of a, rather than rescinding the resolution, would education for the public be more of a?
I think you're gonna
thoughtful
cause,
thing
so, I think you're gonna cause more problems for Kate's office than she ever had.
So you said you talked to Kate, what did she say?
I didn't talk to Kate directly about this, but I rarely, the only conversation I had with Kate was when she was down here 2 weeks ago. And she herself admitted that they never go in houses. And so, unless you can show me, and have a conversation with her that gives an example where this document is needed for her to do her job, I'm not in favor of continuing. If we only need to go on that property, or Martha through Northeast Kansas Environmental needs to go on a property, she has the authority to go on there at this point. If not, if it's a problem, then that's when we get law enforcement involved. If there's illegal dumping, Martha's probably gonna come to us, we can utilize law enforcement to say, we believe there's this going on. There are other avenues to go besides this. That's just my personal opinion.
Like I say, I've not had one community member come up to me
No, I
and
haven't.
the question is, this is something that we as a board asked Todd to come up with. And I understand the,
Sometimes we create rules that
Yeah.
don't need to be made.
you're right, I understand that.
And this, in
100%.
my opinion, happens to be one of those situations. And so I'd love to hear from you, Todd.
You think, correct?
Yeah.
Well, here's the source, somewhat of the issue, in the sense that this resolution essentially writes into existence what kind of already was there, it just makes it clear, okay, because I think that the whole Northeast Kansas Environmental, all the building permits are, this only just kind of passively says, but probably is the rule. If you apply, you're consenting, right, to the person coming on and inspecting whatever it is you're applying to do, right? So that's number one. The unwritten problem, or the unrecognized problem with everything is that absent that, technically the county officer stepping on somebody's property is a trespass, right, outside. So, a neighbor calls up and said, this house is falling down. It's just decrepit. Call it in. The county officer walks on just to take a look, can't see the trees, walks around, doesn't do anything other than look at it. That's a trespass. It's not a criminal trespass, it's a trespass in the house. So, does that complicate matters? Yes. Okay, so that's simple. This cures that by just saying, if you're going out and looking at outbuildings or things that are outside of the home, they can do that. Right? Which is, there's no Fourth Amendment implication because nobody's going inside the house or going into curtilage. So we're all clear on that. So that just level sets. Now what happens when somebody says, don't come on the property? Not the permit side, just, it's again, nuisance, it's a problem, somebody, don't come on my property. Well, it automatically defaults in this to say, okay, you've got to go, that officer has to go get an administrative warrant from the judge. So they pass that, right?
If we don't have this, and there is something going on, what is our authority if we believe that there is illegal dumping or?
Well, you would, arguably, you would go to the judge and try to get another administrative warrant. And the question there becomes, this is something that's not often done, but you're gonna ask the questions about, okay, well, why do you think this is going on? Have you seen this? Have you looked at the property? Well, I've looked at it on the map or GIS or overhead. Well, you haven't gone on the property? No. The judge may say no, right? But you have a reasonable suspicion if you went on there in the first instance and looked. So, I mean, I think in that regard, I think without this thing, you can change the three other things. I'm agreeing with you on that. That's, to my mind, that's a secondary problem, something to address it actually in probably the permit form. You just say, by requesting this, you're acknowledging this and you're allowing us to go. What I'm trying to do is to get that nether region of where somebody, the neighbor calls up and says, I got a problem here. And, you know, who knows if it's just the neighbor who's being picky and not being, not being fair or not. And maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe maybe that complaint doesn't come through, but that just gets them that first step. Only first step.
I'd like to have Kate come down and if she's available and ask her that question because, when it comes to zoning and planning, I think this could create more problems for her than it's gonna help.
That's fine, yeah, call Pete, see if she can come in.
I kind of felt like after Allie wrote her article in the paper that it was a good explanation, kind of calms things down.
Well, like I say, there again, I've not been contacted by anybody, no one.
And I'm trying to make a legal case here for a simple proposition. But this actually just says in some explicit way what the law already is. Meaning, we're not searching homes, we're not searching properties in the home where the privacy interest attaches. If we have a problem within the home or within that area, the instant thing is go to the judge and get an administrative warrant.
If Kate or Martha, from KDA or Northeast Kansas Environment, has a call, we've had these calls before. She's gone on the property and she's inspected. She wears her badge and all of her stuff that identifies who she is. She tries to make contact with the landowner prior to doing so. I guess I just.
Yeah, it never happened. And I just took it as a question being, what can we make it clear that in the event happens, this is what we do. We're probably talking about various, either non-existent problem because everybody's community minded, or not. Or we just haven't found the right person.
If Martha does go on and she's told she cannot at this point, then would she have the ability to contact KDHE, utilize the state agency in some way?
Well, I don't know that for fact, for sure, what they would do. I mean, there's two answers, a legal answer is a practical answer. I think the legal answer is they may have some authority. Second, I just don't think practically they do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think they've got the bandwidth now to kind of investigate those kind of things. So, but I also think that, you know, I would expect that what you guys want in that situation is to get the best answer as quickly as possible. Meaning, a lot of times that answer is going to be, there's nothing wrong with this. But you're overstepping, you know, the neighbor hasn't got it right. And then probably 30% of the time the neighbor's got it right and they're wrong.
I think, you know, it says, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Jackson County, Kansas, authorizing county officers, employees, and contractors to enter onto private property for the purpose of property inspection. That's what's harsh to people, I
Yes.
think, the way it started out.
It sounds like a carte blanche
If I read
authority.
If I read the rest of it, you know, I understand it, and I don't feel like somebody's just gonna walk onto my property
For any-
and do what they want,
Any reason they choose.
but the very beginning of it, the heading of it is what is harsh, I think.
Talking about
Taken-
resolution
or
2025
taken, or taken wrong as far as I'm concerned.
My question is, is there a problem that we need this resolution? Have we ever had an issue where you've had to, go higher to get permission to get onto a property, to doing proper inspections of building permits, revitalization, those types of things, or dilapidated?
I have not at this point,
Okay.
have not.
So I'll just be very straightforward. Do you think this resolution is gonna cause you more problems, or is it gonna help?
I think it already caused the problems, right? That initial shock of that was an issue. I haven't talked to anyone else about it. No one else has reached out, talked to me about it.
No one else as far as members of the public, or?
Correct.
Okay.
Do I see in the future that it could be an issue? I mean, I would like to say I hope not.
My suggestion is to rescind it, because I don't think we have a problem. And I guess my thought is we're creating something that we don't have a problem for. We don't have a problem yet, so why create a legal document that? But I value your opinion in this, and I'm just curious what your thoughts are. I'm just one board member. My thought was any of those things where it requires you to go on, especially the revitalization, building permits, we just have that verbiage put into those documents so that if someone says, nah, you can't come on my property and take pictures before the construction. Because typically you go and inspect before construction if they're applied for revitalization. If they've already done footings or they've poured footings, then they don't qualify, those types of things. Then they just wouldn't qualify for that particular
We
piece.
have had, and we're non-confrontational when we go on a property. If somebody asks us, or tells us to not be there, we're not gonna stay there.
Sure.
We have had instances where if someone didn't get a building permit, but we still had to go measure it and get pictures of it,
Correct.
best we could, we still have to go onto the property to collect that information.
But typically you reach out to them, let them know?
How would we do that? Most of the time, we don't have a phone number, especially if they didn't get a building permit, we don't have a phone number.
You know the property though.
We know the property. So we have had those kind of issues.
Okay.
And I believe that was why that we asked this to be drafted in the first place, was for those type of issues. When we found out, you know, that there was 400 properties that had buildings with no permits.
We've had some people, a little upset with us that were there, even the ones that did get a building permit. It's not very often, but that does happen too. And we're just there, just trying to get a picture and measurements of it. That's all we're doing.
No, yeah,
And like I said, I think
I
that's
understand.
why we had asked for this resolution to be drafted in the first place. So that's, like I said, I've not had anybody, and I thought that was why, what Kate just said, that why we asked, as a board, to have the resolution drafted in the first place. As far as for sending it, I'm not in favor of it.
I just feel like the way it's worded at the top is the only thing that is.
I mean, it's something that can't be
Do
changed.
you want to reword it? Because like I said, I'm not in favor of rescinding the full, resolution. If you want the resolution to be amended, different wording. But that was why we as a board asked Todd to draft this in the first place, was what Kate just said.
I want to bear down on what the issue here is.
Sure.
I think, what I really want to key on for you guys and the public is, I think there has been no legal objection. It's problematic. I think this supports completely.
Yeah.
And I want to make that because there may be objections out there because of that to say, well, you don't have the right to. No, this is how it works. The right to privacy that people have in their homes and the immediate area around them. It's not in the barn way out or the septic tank system out there. So that's the first understanding people have to have. And then the second one being that what you're saying is policy. This is just do we do things just to kind of, that really aren't problems just because we think they may be. And that's where you guys come in. And I get to say, good luck to you. But I'm fully glad to reword that first paragraph and do whatever we need to do if we want to get someplace in the middle of it. And that's just what I want to say.
What would you like first paragraph to say? You got any ideas? I mean, what, you know,
I just think the title up there needs changed. It makes it sound like we're just gonna walk into private property. I think that's what set everybody off. If you read the rest of the resolution, it's very self-explanatory and doesn't say we're just gonna barge you to your house. You know, I just.
that's what I think. I think the knee-jerk reaction
Is
was
the title,
this.
the title
when I read it online.
But
You said-
it's the title that I think is what's,
Okay, yeah.
yes, the bold part is what I think needs changed.
Okay, Tanner. Let's see, you think you're. Can you say contractors have the right of entry in compliance with state law?
Do other counties have the same document?
Not that I know of, but like I said, when we talked about it, just about every city I represent has it. And they have it very general, meaning they have a code section that's one sentence long. Public officer shall have the right to enter private property and inspect for nuisances or whatever. That's it. Nothing more. And the question I got to was, talk about this, is that there was the issue in one of my cities of infiltration into the septic system, where you get stormwater coming into the septic system, to the city, sanitary sewer, and that's inflow and infiltration, and that costs money because you're treating rain, not baseball. and they need to go into the house to see where the sump pump is. And they couldn't do that because people said, oh, you can't come in. And that's where we got the, all the administrative board stuff, Fourth Amendment stuff that kind of went through. And that was partly the basis of where it went. So that's, the story is that they have this very general right of entry. This kind of answers the question, what authorizes that person to be on their property looking for the junk in the backyard? And you guys don't have it.
Suggestions? I mean, do you want the wording changed? What?
No, I'm just not in favor of it. I don't think it's needed. Again, we haven't had an issue. To my knowledge, Martha has never come to us and said, I was told I couldn't come on and inspect you name it. And, I mean, I know there was an instance down there by Mayetta where someone had illegal sewage running out onto another person's property. She was able to go on and inspect that. There was no issue. That was corrected. So, I don't know.
Linda?
I don't know how I would change it at this point.
Okay.
I think the heading should be changed. I can't say that I have a problem with the actual resolution.
So you have suggestions for Todd? Do you have?
I would just like it clear that it doesn't give the county the carte blanche authority to just walk on somebody's property inspection.
Which is what the heading sounds like.
Yeah, I get you.
It does.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem. I just had this. I said, authorize the county office employees and contractors to have a right of entry onto the property in compliance with the law. It's very vague.
But yeah, to me, it's too vague. If there is an issue, I mean, in compliance with the law.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're working on it, so. It would say, have the right of entry for enforcement of county codes and in compliance with state and federal law. So basically, it just says, all we're doing is what code empowers us to do, and then the law allows. Because that's really the answer to what is it really doing. What is it really doing? It's allowing officers to actually enter property to do, to enforce the codes that you guys have, which are beyond just sewer codes, and but do so in accordance with constitutional requirements.
Does it hurt to put in there and give an example of what, maybe that's not the right thing to do in a resolution, but,
Well,
I'm fine with that.
Well, I think
If
you
you
do a
want to change
whereas
that.
paragraph is like that, which would say, I'm not taking your vibe here. That basically say to inspect for nuisance conditions.
Nuisance conditions, building inspections, revitalization inspections,
Well, that's probably.
then it narrows it down to, we just don't have the authority to come on because we just desired to today.
Yeah, well, not broad. Okay, so that,
Yeah.
the whereas can say in the third whereas paragraph, that's part of the problem. To say something like,
Say that again.
like facilitate actual code enforcement, this is not, just say it, it's not for the purpose of searches.
Criminal investigation, it just has to do with county violation.
Reported county violations.
Yeah, reported county violations of
And not-
illegal dumping, zoning, regulations, those types of things.
And that was a fault, you know, it was a fault of mine and not being clear, because I never conceived of this as being carte blanche of, well, we're just gonna go out and search, we're gonna.
And I know you, I know you well enough to know that that wasn't your intent.
But we gotta make that clear.
Yes, for most people who are not attorneys, or have access to one to explain it makes it seem, you know,
Yeah, okay, well.
what are they trying to do?
Why don't we give him one shot at fixing the language in the first few paragraphs? See if we can.
I appreciate that.
If we want.
Yeah.
All right, do that.
I mean, do you think of anything else, Kate? I mean, do you think that?
You think that will help?
Sure.
I want you to be honest. I really do. I mean, 'cause the last thing I want to do is create more problems for your office when they go out and they go, we saw your resolution, you can't come on, you know, that type of thing. Because that's not our intent.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this gets some people, you know, looking at the actual rules and the law, so they can better defend themselves. Because I think they have the right to say, if somebody comes on your property and says, I want to look in your house, that's just because you got a county badge, doesn't mean they can do that. And you could say, hey, not the permit side, but I think you got a nuisance. And you could say, do they have a right to have a warrant before you come on to their home? And this says that exactly.
All right. Good enough for right now? All right.
I appreciate the
Yes.
time today.
Not a problem.
What we got?
This is a year-round compliance letter.
For,
A violation that is no longer in violation.
okay.
She asked for a letter, so I
So
would,
you guys are good with that? Screener.
yeah. I just wanted to share that with you before I send it off. Yep, and we got it.
Looks good.
Thank you. Oh, man.
And you all don't need me for anything else?
All right now. Hold yourself in readiness.
Absolutely.
Thanks, kid.
Todd, what do you have for us?
Okay, well, I think we held on the EMF letter, so did you get a draft of that?
No.
The third, no, it's the one, it's this one, just to make sure.
I believe this was everything that you'd asked for that you wanted.
Yeah,
Oh.
follow up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Further more information would like to have.
They'll provide that if you send
I-
this out.
I will, so.
Yeah.
Whether they provided or not is a question.
Yeah, hopefully they will.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're
that
good
would
with
be
that.
good information.
All right, put that out. We did that.
I mean, we're being proactive on that, so we still got plenty of time.
Yeah.
For the timeline, so.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need an executive session for at least a half hour. Claims against the county, attorney-client privilege, but.
Okay. I move we go into executive session for the purpose of attorney-client privilege discussion for a period of 30 minutes, starting at,
Claims against the county.
10:16.
Yep.
Claims against the county, in this room, back in this room also.
And court press.
And, with our clerk.
Do I hear a second?
Okay.
Good property properly moved and seconded to go into executive session for attorney-client privilege for 30 minutes for claims against the county with the board, the clerk, and our attorney present. Any more further discussion?
Should begin at
10:16. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We're in executive session, 10:16.
Oh, thanks.